This is the trickiest part of this all, is getting them all in order. All right. All right, I think we got it. All right, well, as the worship committee was thinking about what to do for this first service of the year, we thought we'd try something new and different. And this is a service that some other youth congregations have done, a similar kind of thing of hearing from each decade of their community. And so we thought it'd be a fun thing to try, especially as we're starting the new year. So the question that they are going to answer comes from a poem by Mary Oliver. I'm going to go ahead and read that poem. It's the last 2 lines in this poem is what they're going to be reflecting on. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand. Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in that grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? So now each person has 2 minutes, right? to reflect on what they think about their one and wild and precious life.
Hi, my name is Lillian, and I'm 10 years old. And what I plan to do with my one wild and precious life is an interesting question for the reason of how do we know we only get one life? What about the worms that eat our flesh after we are deceased? We are part of them. And what about the fungus that grows on us in our coffins? So I would like to think about this question as what will I do with this one wild and precious life as myself? I have written a poem about it, so here goes nothing. Heart desires, not in shelter, but out in the most beautiful place of all, learning all of nature's secrets, how to understand the sparrow's song, hearing the leaves whisper in the trees, seeing the glistening snail trail, and the toads.
I can't hear you very well.
So we want to hear every word. I'm going to start this up.
And also slow down a little bit.
You're doing great, Lillian.
Yeah.
Slow down so I can hear
Everybody, your words are so fantastic. So just get a little closer so everybody can hear them because they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Why don't you start over? Because we want to hear every word.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it that I plan to do with my one wild and precious life? Is an interesting question. The reason of how do we know we only get one life? What about the worms that eat our flesh after we are deceased? We are part of them, and the fungus that grows on us in our coffins. So, I would like to think of this question as what will I do with this one wild and precious life as myself? I have written this poem about it, so here goes nothing. Heart desires, not in shelter, but out in the most beautiful place of all, learning all of nature's secrets, how to understand the sparrow's song, hearing the leaves whisper through the trees, seeing a glistening snail trail and toadstools, feeling the explosion of smell as you walk through a clump of ponderosa pines, let the amazing grace of nature seep into you. What I want to do with my one wild and precious life as myself is, as this poem I wrote is trying to express, is that I want to explore everything in nature has to offer, from the ladybird to the elephant, from the smallest leaf to the biggest flower, from the United States to South Africa. Nature is beautiful, and I respect every living creature on earth. Do you?
Good morning. I am not in my teens. I am Anna Barsati. My daughter Ileana was supposed to be speaking this morning. She turns 18 this month, and she's a senior in high school. She got food poisoning last night. She deeply, deeply regrets not being here, but I will be sharing some of her thoughts and words in her place. Good morning, I'm Illy. I want to be curious with this life of mine. As I reach my final year of high school and look towards college, I find that my greatest hope for my life, especially the next 10 years, is to just try new things. I want to be uncomfortable in new scenarios, whether that be scuba diving or meeting new people, trying new classes in new places. I want to take classes that introduce topics I've never thought of, or discuss with people with very different ideologies compared to mine. And I know that when I challenge myself, I learn new things and feel uncomfortable, I also feel the most alive. I also feel the most alive, like I am using my brain, my body, and my spirit to the fullest. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm 22 years old, so representing the 20s decade. And right now, in my point in life, life feels like something that's happening to me more than something that I get to choose. So right now, all I'm doing is controlling the little things that I can control and making little changes where it makes me happier, where it makes me feel more fulfilled. But right now and for the foreseeable future, all that I plan to do is kind of let life happen and see where I end up.
Hi, I'm Bryn. I'm representing the 30s decade. I love life. I am sad when the day is over. I think there are so many beautiful, miraculous, and wondrous things in this world. I strive for every day to be meaningful, fun, and a way to connect to all of those in our lives. I believe every day is not only an opportunity, but a responsibility to grow and be better than the day before. I believe we were put on this earth for love, out of love, and to be love. With this life, I choose to spread love, to spread kindness, be compassionate, and care for this earth and all its inhabitants. I will care through my personal actions and always take into consideration what my actions cause, good or bad. And I will learn from that. I will never stop learning. I will always look how to grow from my mistakes. With this one wild and precious life, I choose to live by 3 sayings. Maya Angelou, do the best you can until you know better. Then do better. Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. Dalai Lama, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. I will always follow my heart, my values, and my intuition. I will be the best version of myself that I can. I will spend my life caring for people and animals with all my heart. And I will be someone who, when they leave this world, has left this world a better place than before I arrived.
Good morning again. Back to being Anna. On the last fumes of my 40s, I will be 49 this year, I am mindfully immersing myself in life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I am also highly aware in a way that is different than ever before of the transitory nature of life itself, as we all feel in different ways. As I pass through midlife, my own hormones are shifting. It can be a renewed or a different adolescence. My kids are leaving the nest my husband and I have so thoughtfully built. We are losing, as Lily spoke to, or people are transitioning on to whatever else is out there in the world. And my parents themselves are shifting the nests that they have created over their own decades. With this working body I currently have, this vessel that houses my spirit, I am, in this decade, seeking out a full immersion in the world around me. On foot, on these feet that can still carry me deep into the mountains, on plunges into icy lakes. When I'm gardening, I use my back and my hips and my shoulders because I know they won't work the same, and I don't know when that will change. I am working to be fully present with everyone whose path I cross. I am working to be fully present and immerse myself in the world, in the people, in the creatures around me. With that sense of mindfulness and immersion, I was fortunate to find another poem by Mary Oliver titled Mindful, which I would like to share with you. Every day, I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in a haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional or the fearful, the dreadful, the extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Ah, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The intrimmable light of the world, the oceans shine, the prayers that are made out of grass.
I'm Cheryl, and I'm representing the 50s. All right. So at this time in my life, I'm trying harder to take things as they come. Live in the moment, appreciate my many blessings, and be present. With a strong emphasis on try. During this last decade, I've been shifting my thinking from having a master plan, or at least a 5-year plan, to knowing I have built a foundation of security that no longer requires me to be constantly thinking ahead. The shift in thinking has occurred because we've had a few life challenges with health, family, work, and a worldwide pandemic. I have more days where I just wake up with no plans and I'm willing to let the day unfold organically. I have been more open to being less practical about choices if it'll bring joy and satisfaction. I can't entirely stop my overactive mind from thinking about all the choices I feel I need to make, but I'm trying to be okay with not having details sorted out. In fact, I'm trying to be more careful about what I put my energy into, prioritizing things that are fulfilling in some way. I do still worry about the security of my future and the future generations and this lovely planet. I know that life will wallop you now and then. My overactive, analytical, and practical mind won't let me stop thinking about everything, but I hope I'm getting better at letting go of things I can't control and knowing I can likely deal with what is to come. And as I ponder the rest of my one wild and precious life, I fundamentally have not changed my core values of trying to be kind to the fellow human beings, to myself, to life in general, and to this earth. Being open to new experiences and enjoying comfortable, simple days. Grateful for what I have and making choices with intention. I hope that my words and actions have a small ripple of goodness. Trying not to overthink too much and just be.
I'm Holly, and I didn't tell you this, Chris, but I'm 3 months away from the next decade, so, but I am representing the 60th decade. So retirement has given me the gift of time. The challenge has been learning to slow down and take the time. If you want to live mindfully in the moment, you need to take the time, maybe in new ways. When I was younger, my focus was on what I would do for a living, and then other milestones like buying a house, starting a business, a family. And the majority of my planning, thoughtfulness, was related to these things. I wanted to be a partner, a mother, a homeowner, a business owner. There was really little consideration for me as a person. My focus was on what was in front of me. Well, now the horizon looks kind of empty at first glance. And that used to bother me until I figured out that the empty horizon is freedom. And like it or not, want it or not, I've got it. You don't always get the gift you want. But I've learned to recognize time as the gift that I will accept and be grateful for. There are a few things, activities in my life that I'm passionate about, and I try to steer myself to these things daily on a regular basis. Kind of what people my age do. But for me, and probably for a lot of others too, I'm interested now in listening and learning, opening myself to things, trying out a different path. At this point in my life, I have learned that none of us knows what's around the corner. That is a certainty. So my plan for my wild and precious life is to live my best, authentic self while having fun, whatever comes.
I'm short. Hi, I'm Ronnie, and I'm representing the 70s, which I will be exiting in a few weeks. I cannot come back. Now, one of the gifts that has come to me in this decade is that I no longer have much memory. So I am forced to live in the present, and I've become very Buddhist without actually, formally pursuing the Buddhist path, because I cannot remember my thoughts from a minute ago. So here I am in the present, which allows me to open my heart more to other people and just be there for people, which before I was always thinking ahead and planning and seeing, the great scope of things. But now it's like, okay, I'm here, you're here, let's just connect. Because that's all I have in front of me, right? And that's all I remember. And it's actually a gift. And the other thing is I'm becoming more my mother. When my mother was my age, she lived about half the year with me. And so I am seeing her. She actually hasn't lived my life because I am her now. And I find this a gift because she has never actually gone away. And I'm thinking I should spend lots of time with my daughter because then when she becomes me, she will recognize this. And so I've taken up the habit of spending at least one full day a week, the full day with my daughter, so she gets to know all of my habits. And then, she'll know that, oh yeah, I've become my mother. Yeah. So this is a little different from in the past, when I was in my 40s, I had grand plans. I thought ahead. I was thinking in terms of accomplishments. Okay, did I achieve this? Did I achieve that? No, it'd feel good if I did. Now, I can't even remember what, the goals were. It's sort of gone. But that's all right because there is joy in living in the moment and appreciating the beauty in the moment. So yes, I can see the flowers blooming. I can feel my cat purring against me. I can't remember if I fed my cat. She'll tell me if I haven't. She has a way of doing that. But I'm going to read a little poem since, I can't remember. I had prepared all kinds of thoughts. They're gone. They're totally gone. So I did photograph a poem to read in case I couldn't remember anything. And so here comes the poem. It's by James Baldwin. You might have heard of him. He left us many wonderful and sage words. This is from Nothing Personal, a bunch of his writings. The longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring each other's light, gentle work, steadfast work, life-saving work in those moments when shame and sorrow occlude our own light from view. But there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. In our best moments, we are that person for another. I'll leave you with that thought. We're here for each other and for love. Thank you.
I'm Phil Newman. I'm in my 80s. Feels like I'm in my hundreds. I guess I'd start off with a quick summary of some of the challenges of the 80s before mentioning how I hope to navigate them. It's a formidable time full of a lot of losses. You lose not only those you love, but you deal with the attrition of your personal coping mechanisms and a progressive loss of your body as you once knew it. My entire family of origin has moved on. My brother and sister, except for 2 distant nieces. My wife and one of my best friends died in the same month of this past brutal year. My oldest friend is now in a memory care unit. Over the years, I've lost most of the vision in one eye and acquired 4 metal joints recently. I've had an extensive revision of my cervical spine, and my skeletal muscles fade away daily unless the process is countered by meticulous attention to specific exercises and long walks. 2 weeks ago, my right hip dislocated while taking off a shoe. A lifetime of dogs are buried under the tree in the front yard. And of all times, that printer died this morning, so I'm reading this off of my cell phone. When I was born in 1938, my life expectancy was about 77 years, and yet I may turn 87 this year. My memory has been has many expanding black holes. And because of these, I don't get out of bed in the morning until I can remember the capital of North Dakota. If I don't fight back daily against the impinging isolation, my life begins sounding like a John Prine song. On the upside, I take great delight in my children and grandchildren, walk 5,000 to 6,000 steps a day, attend Qigong with some other folks actually in the room, read good books, work hours, trying to create a definitive photographic image, and intermittently review the virtues of Stoic philosophy, courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. Heroically, my friends, family, and community have risen around me, and in the end, they are major factors. I just screwed up this thing. Don't go away. Now I've got to find it again. How did that happen? This has to do with the printer failing this morning. Heroically, my friends, family, and community have risen around me, and in the end, they are the major factors that keep me in the game. Despite the losses, I am still learning new things and remain driven by my inherent curiosity. It turns out that curiosity and humor are the things that make my days shine. I'll end with this directive from a book on the history of humanism that I finished a few weeks ago. Happiness is the only good. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. The way to be happy is to make others so. That was Ingersoll Robert, by the way.
The person representing the 90s decade, unfortunately, wasn't able to come today. Beth Halverson, she said her energy, unfortunately, has been really low, so she didn't feel up to coming today. And I asked her if she would want to just send me by email what she would like me to share, and this is what she wrote. She says, "This is an easy question to answer. I never knew grandparents, and my mother died young. So I love watching my grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren grow and learn. Imagine having a great-grandchild read to you. What a blessing it is." That's it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everybody.
What a gift that was. I think that's up there as one of my very favorite sermons we've ever had. We all have so much to share and so much to glean from each other. It's hard to not cry the whole time. So with those words, I'll leave you, or I'm not going to leave you, but we're going to do a 2-minute meditation, and then we'll have a dialogue. So close over your eyes, take a deep breath, and I'll ring this again in 2 minutes.